for about a day and everybody started trading the coins. Some people made a lot of money. They bought low at 100K and they held it all the way up to 4 million where they were able to sell. Now, I was streaming when this was all going on, and somebody in my chat said, if Plumber goes to 20 mil, then you should buy Plunger because Plunger is going to go way higher. And this is what we call a beta coin. This is what we call a derivative. Here it is. So this is Plunger. As you can see, the chart looks very similar, but instead of peaking at 4 million, this thing peaked at 30K. And a lot of people enter meme coins because they want to make a quick bag. So I get it. You want to buy the derivative coin, right? If Plumber is the main coin, what does a plumber use? A plunger. So if Plumber is the main coin and it's at 4 mil, then you think Plunger should go to a mil or something, right? You think you can buy it earlier and then get a higher multiple and sell. But that is the wrong way to think about trading. Betas are terrible. They never work out, or extremely rarely. And the reason is there's always one main runner for a narrative. So when Plumber was the primary narrative and that token was running, that token was getting a majority of the volume and the majority of the attention. Now, a plumber does use a plunger, but a plumber also uses a pipe, and a plumber also uses a toolkit. And actually, Mario is a plumber, so we could send Mario coin. Do you get what I'm saying? One main narrative of a plumber can create 10 or 100 derivatives. For your plunger to go up, Plumber has to go up, and then Plunger has to win the battle between all the other derivatives that come out of that. I hope this is making sense to you guys. But basically, don't buy betas and don't buy derivatives. I hope I explained it well enough. That is the single biggest mistake I see people making. It's the easiest way to lose money. Do not buy derivatives. Do not buy beta coins. Mistake number 2, do not copy trade. Obviously, you want to look at wallets and see who's in a token and gather information, but who is in a token should simply be a data point that you are using to measure if it's a good buy, if you're early, if you're late. That's a data point. It is not something you should follow. You will not make money just copy trading, okay? And this is the example I want to use here. Today, we had Grox live on stream. I was watching this happen. This thing went nowhere. It was a whole lot of nothing. And then some very highly tracked wallets on FOMO bought. And so because of that, when someone high profile buys, it gets advertised or marketed. It gets shown to everybody following them. That doesn't mean that the token or the narrative suddenly became good. This narrative sucked and a bunch of people piled in with followings and then they got rinsed. Even the people with followings got rinsed, and actually everyone got rinsed. This narrative went all the way down. And so there's a right way to think about trading when it comes to copy trading, when it comes to signal, and what you want to look for is who is in a token, how much they have, when they bought, how up they are. These are data points that you are receiving, right? It's not, I'm going to copy trade. He bought, let me buy it really quick so that I could sell because he bought. That's not how this works. Okay, that's not how this works. And actually, most people that are copy trading are just getting rinsed. They're just getting rinsed because the likelihood is if you add to that candle, if you add to that boost in the chart, the people who bought before are going to sell into that volume. And so what you're looking for are broader narratives growing. You're looking for Elon Musk to tweet about X, Y, and Z. You're not looking for other crypto wallets, right? Like I'm Rasmer, right? You guys know I'm a good trader, but I'm nothing compared to the whole world, right? If you're buying something because I'm in it, that is not a good enough reason. Do not copy trade. Mistake number 3, do not rush. Guys, the blockchain lasts forever. It's not going anywhere. There's always going to be another trade. So if you see a token and you think, this is my last chance to finally get rich, I need to buy it, you're just a gambling addict. You should just go play slots. What we do here is we do skill-based trading, okay? And if you're buying something impulsively, you are feeding into the negative, evil chimp brain of your fucking body that is going to make you a terrible trader. You need to stay calm. You need to be patient. You need to pick your spots. And I want to show you guys this example, which is Cash Cat, okay? Check this out. Look at how this chart ended up playing out. A lot of people got FOMO. They got the fear of missing out when this token was all the way up here, right? They were all the way up here and they rushed into it and they bought it because they thought they were going to miss out. And what happens? Token goes all the way down and they probably sold down here. How many people sold down here, right? And they didn't have the patience to sit through this and go up. Now, I don't want you guys buying up here on the left. left. I don't. I want you waiting. I want you being patient. And when it dips all the way down here, and when you see a steady chart, let me clear this up for you guys. That's when you can have time to evaluate the narrative and think about if you actually think this is a good purchase. And if it is, and if you see catalysts, and if the narrative is strong, you will eventually get rewarded. But don't do this top blasting thing when you're buying a coin with a chart that looks like this. I mean, look at this, right? For example, when this coin was all-time high, this is what the chart looked like. Just zoom out. So like, you have to keep in mind, like, there was no dips. Like, look at the right? This was the whole chart at the time. There was no dips. So are you buying a chart that's up only? No, you need to be patient. You need to find out where people are selling and where it consolidates and figure out where that bottom bid is, because that's where you get the highest returns. And if you bid something at the lows where people are accumulating, there's just less downside, right? Like, if you look here at 40 mil, the downside was 0, but up here at 220, the downside was 0. So there's far less downside here, but even more upsides. You want to buy things when they're low. I know it's hard because people stop talking about things when they're low. That's why you need to buy in the narratives that have juice and have legs and have potential for future catalysts. We're going to talk more about catalyst-based trading and what that means on my stream and in future videos, but this is what we do here, catalyst-based trading. The people that watch me are the best fucking traders in meme coin. They're the best traders in crypto, and we're going to take crypto, and then we're going to take the stock market, and we're going to take everything. But for now, we're conquering meme coins. So you want to buy those bottoms and wait for the catalyst. Subscribe and you'll learn more. We'll get into the next mistake now. Mistake number 4, do not overinvest. Now, this tip goes hand in hand with the last tip, which is don't rush. They both come from our primal human nature that we need to get away from. We need to get away from this gambling human nature ape brain activity, and we need to get into skill-based high IQ operation mode, okay? And I get this all the time in my stream chat. People come into stream chat and they say, Rasmer, I have $1,000. How can I get rich? And I'm just going to tell you, if you have $1,000 to your name, especially if you're starting out beginner mode, you are probably not going to get rich. I've been trading for 5 years, and that experience is why I was able to turn 5K into 350K. But if you're just starting out, it's just not really probably going to be possible. You are better off learning and trying things and making mistakes and going from there. Now, a lot of people would come in and they would say, I have $1,000 and I want to get rich, so I'm going to put 80% of what I have into a token I like. And if we just apply that to CashCat, right? Let's say you had $1,000 to your name and you put 80% of it up here into CashCat. You would have been so nervous when it started dipping. You would have probably been the person to sell all the way down here. And then boom, you're down 50%. You're screwed. And so what I want to see you guys doing is sizing less and expecting a dip. Okay, this is what an expert trader might do. You might fall in love with the CashCat narrative, right? And I get it. It's the leading meme coin on Robinhood chain. Vlad Tenev, the CEO of Robinhood, has bull posted it multiple times. I get it. But if you have $1,000 to your name, do not be afraid of putting only 100 up here, or even 50 or even 25. You can size less, and when it dips down to here, you can add another 25, and then when it dips down all the way down here, if you still like what you're seeing, you can add another 25. And now look, when it goes up to 159, back to break even on your first buy, but you're up on these lower buys and you are in the green and you are feeling comfy holding your bags. That is how a professional motherfucking trader trades, okay? Do not just ape something, right? The next trade will come. I've been here for 5 years trading. There's always a next trade. Always, 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 always. Don't be in a rush. Don't overinvest. You can put small amounts and build your conviction with time. Build your bags with time, not overinvest. And if you took my advice and you didn't overinvest, you're probably in the green. And that's exactly what brings me to the 5th mistake that I don't want you to make, which is always be selling. I want you to always be selling. Okay, this is the number 1 tip that I always say on my stream, and everybody's gonna get like, Rasmer's always saying always be selling. I just want to show you guys this chart, okay? This was a trade that I believe I made $28,000 on. One of my better trades. And what I did here is I bought, and then I sold some here, and then I bought more, and I sold some, and I bought more, and I sold some, and eventually I was out. And what happened? The coin went all the way up here. Did I sweat it? No. Was I upset? No. And then it dipped, and I didn't like the narrative anymore, but I could have bought back lower. lower. Guys, most of the time you'll be able to buy back lower. Most of the time, okay? And so, yeah, that pawns trade is 28K plus 28K. That's probably my third best trade this month. Don't get envious of me. Don't think that you need to copy me. Don't think you need to chase those numbers because I know my numbers are crazy. I know my numbers are crazy. My profits are crazy. I've been doing this for so long. All right, I've made every mistake in the book, and I hope you learned something today. Genuinely, I want to bring you the